I've got a fun DIY today, and most importantly, I get to use some cool tools. So what are we making? Well, it's a tea light holder. Something simple, easy. It holds these little candles that go in there. Great for ornaments, great for presents, Christmas and birthdays. I've got a drill press, and one of my favorite tools is a 45mm Forstner bit. I love these. Ideal in timber, clean, neat cuts. Oh, they're beautiful. Not to mention the mess that they're going to make. It really is artwork. Some of the other tools I'll be using, I've got a router head, a sander head, combination square, and a pencil. And I'm going to be making it from a piece of planed all round timber, 69 by 69. I've cut it down to 100 long, and there's my sample piece. That's all I'm using for the material. So what am I going to be doing? Well, as you can see, there's a hole on the top, and then one on either side working all the way around, and that creates that cool looking structure. Really does look awesome. At the same time, what we'll do is we'll use our router and then just route it on the edges there just to round off those edges, and it gives it that smooth natural look, and then we'll sand it down and we're good to go. It's as simple as that. Let's get started. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we drill our holes in the center points, and we want to make sure that each one is evenly spaced all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by measuring the timber. Now I said it was a 69 by 69, that's the nominal size. Often it can be a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. So take the size and then just half that. And that way we can find our middle piece. So it's a combination square. I'm actually working on 68 here. So set my combination square all the way down to 34, lined up in the middle. And you know that is the center piece of your square piece. You can then take the same size onto the edges, same distance down, flip it over. Now you know you've got your set square set to halfway, so then just line it up, and that'll give you a middle point. Flip it over, middle point. So that's all the sides marked. I've got the central point, and that's the exact point where that drill is going to go all the way down through into that crossing point. How deep do you go? Well, if you have a look here, we've got a little bit of a pocket at the bottom, so we want a little bit of clearance for the tea candle so it sits flush. So I've worked that out to be 72mm for this particular design. And then just mark it on my Forstner bit. So now I know that that line there is going to be the stopping point at the top edge of the tea light candle holder. Okay, so we are going to be popping in our piece of timber. We're going to cut through the end grain first. The reason why we're going to do that first is otherwise if we do the sides, as we cut through, we're going to be chipping off those edges, and it's going to chip on the inside, and it's not going to look very nice. So cut through the top, which is the end grain first, and I'm going to make use of a vise. Pop that guy in there, but you'll see it doesn't sit nicely. We want this sitting square. That's one of the benefits of using a drill press. You get a square cut vertical all the way down. So I like to just make use of my combination square as a ruler. Pop that on the side there. And that's just acting as a seat, keeping it level across those two bars. Lift it up into position. And we want that tip of the Forstner bit to go exactly on our X marks the spot. So we line it all up into position. Now, this is going to make a lot of mess. The Forstner bit, lots of sawdust goes everywhere. I love it. It's part of the DIY. It's the best part. There you'll see the drill press bottomed out before I can get it to its full depth. Remember, I needed that top edge in line with the edge of the timber. So we're going to let that go back up. And then what we'll do is we will just slide our table up a little bit further and then re-drill that hole. Okay, so with our first hole drilled, it's now time to drill the holes on the side. Now we want to go just past halfway, so you can line it up just past halfway, and we know there's my depth stop, so I can actually put a little mark there. Okay, so line that up into the vise, nice and level across the bars, clamp it in tight onto the bed. Let's bring it all the way up till that tip is just above the surface. Now you can clamp the vise to the table to keep it firm, but I've done this DIY so many times and I actually know that it doesn't move around. That tip on the bottom of the Forstner bit helps it keep it central and stops it from wandering around. So I'm just going to hold it with my hand. This is the fun part. Check out the mess that we're going to make now. Now you'll notice it goes down a lot easier with the Forstner bit as we did beforehand. That's because we're cutting across the grain structure. But before we were cutting on top of the grain, which is much harder. As you can see, it's much easier. It goes down, pull that out, So there's the main result of the structure. You can see we've got holes all the way down. We've got plenty of clearance in at the bottom for the tea light itself. And what I want to do now is just actually round these edges off on the inside here, just to give it a natural rounded look. There, I've done one before using the router, and that's where I'm going to use my attachment. This is my multi-evo. Take it off from my drill, and then pop on my router attachment. Really cool tool. I've got a rounded bit in there. And what I want to do is I'm going to hold this down on the table, probably clamp it into position, and then just run that router all the way around. There's our first piece. It's easy as that. So that's the first one done. We're going to carry on around each piece. Now, if you're new to routers, this is a great tool. It's only spinning at 9,000 RPM, probably about a third of the normal speed. It's small, it's compact, it's controllable, and you can really do some great intricate work with this router. So definitely worthwhile giving that a try. Now remember, when using a router, it's very important that you do go in the right direction. If you go the wrong direction, the blade actually starts chasing the wood and you start running around. You've got to be cutting into the wood and moving in the direction of the actual cut itself. Okay, that's our 5 holes. We've managed to route each one of those edges. Now we need to just give it a bit of a clean up with some sandpaper. I take off the router attachment and pop on my sander attachment. All on the same tool. Always a good idea, make use of some foam matting. I really love this stuff. It just stops any vibrations as it moves around and it stops any damage on that underside. Okay, that's all the edges sanded off. Now you'll notice on the inside you can see a few splinters, a few burrs there. What you can do, just peel off your sandpaper, roll it up, and then you can get in on the inside there. Okay, so there you have it. Our structure is complete. Something simple like that. That really was easy to do. Moment of truth. Let's pop in a little tea light or lighter. There you have it. That's the end result. I really love the symmetry of all the holes, the shapes that it creates, not to mention the shadows that that's going to cast. It's a great feature for a little tea light candle. Great for presents, Christmas, birthdays, whatever you want to. But the most important thing is you've got to have fun with the DIY, and I got to show you the use of some really cool tools. A drill press, a Forstner bit, the Multi-Evo Black & Decker range, really cool tools with a router and a sander, and I even managed to throw in the combination square. And you got to make a cool little project at the end of the day. If you enjoyed this clip, like it, share it. You can also subscribe to the Builders Fan YouTube channel. There's a range of product reviews, DIYs, and how-tos just like this for you to be inspired to get to Builders and get it done.